Interviews with business owners and veteran executives who share their wisdom and expertise to help you de-stress, free up time, and make more money. Profits of IT. Welcome back to the Profits of IT. I am Jim Punzenberger, your host and the creator of the Managed Prospecting System. If you're looking to generate leads and appointments and sales through personalized outreach, check out managedprospectingsystem.com. David's here with me today. David, why don't you please introduce yourself to the audience and tell us a little bit about you and your company.
Hello. Honored, pleasure to be here with Jim, and it's an honor. And I wrote a book about telemarketing called The $1 Million Rebuttal, Cold Calling, and it's become a #1 bestseller on Amazon, and I'm excited about it. And really, it's just a book about cold calling. Your audience, I think, is mostly IT companies or managed service companies.
Yes, they are.
And so I actually
many of
ran
them.
a call center for 13 years. But I worked in telemarketing prior to that, and it's a story about how I set 15 appointments a day. Every single day for 6 months, I set 1,800 appointments.
Wow.
And before that, prior to that, I read See You at the Top by Zig Ziglar, and I started claiming my goals in the mirror for 6 months that I was going to set 15 appointments a day. And then 6 months later, I went to work that day and I booked 15 appointments. And what I had done is I'd reimagined cold calling, turned it upside down, and everybody in the department I worked for at that time, a PEO like Insperity. And everybody there basically set 2 appointments a day was the routine.
So yeah, like 15, in an
15,
MSP, like one appointment a day for an MSP is like good.
Yeah. But I help companies when I ran my call center. I help companies like SATA Systems make millions of dollars with cold calling. And, I've even been endorsed by Rob Ray from Datto.
Cool. So what's something interesting about yourself outside of work?
Outside of work?
Yes.
I like to play chess. I like to wakeboard, snowboard, and travel. And I just got back from Tony Robbins, which was have been on my bucket list for a long time. And just that window between the pandemic where he did a live event in Florida, I got to do it. And then the pandemic came back. Now it's all live again. So I got to walk on fire.
Wow. You walked on fire?
Yeah.
Are your feet okay?
Yeah, actually, he takes all this time to put you in the state of mind. You even lay down and relax where he talks to you on a mic like
yeah,
and plays music, and we do chants and everything for about an hour to prepare our mindset. He calls it state.
Yeah.
And it's funny because you would be shocked when you finally in this massive throng of crowds, and then it's your turn, you pop out and you see this fiery hot coals laid out. And I walked across the whole thing without any problems. And as I was stepping off, I felt out of state. And I got a slight singe on my under my toe. And it's like, why didn't I get singed all the other way? It was the last step because I felt out of state. It's so amazing. The idea of being in an altered state of consciousness where you don't feel pain.
Yep. And so then, your feet, so you just didn't feel like they just, I'd imagine your feet were getting burned while you're doing it, or is it just your feet are just fine because of your state of whatever state you're in?
Yep. It was that last step. It was not all the other steps. If it burns your feet, it would burn your feet every step. All the steps, I didn't burn my feet except the last step.
So wow.
And that's the state I was in when I was cold calling zone.
I
was in a state of zone of I can do no harm, and everybody I talk to, I will persuade every call. This is an appointment before I even pick up the phone. It's a state.
Cool. So what would you say is your superpower when it comes to business, and how can others learn from that? I assume that we're talking about, you know, booking appointments. So I'm guessing it's something to do with that.
Yeah.
Or am I totally off base here?
No, it's my superpower is everybody in sales, they try to find someone who has a problem, a need, a pain. And in every place I've ever worked in my entire career, when I was calling for MBNA America Bank, when I worked for my dad in the air conditioning HVAC industry, everything I've done in IT and PEOs is, or even in security, I was a distributor selling security products like alarm panels to other, like an IT distributor, but it was security. I was able to take people who were completely happy or they were with a certain thing, and after they talked to me, paint a vision, a picture, light a fire underneath them to where they would completely switch away from something that had not even been on their mind. In other words, sell anybody, not because they don't have a need and I'm like an ice to Eskimos, but actually show them they have a need they weren't aware of. And I've been able to do that in every situation. And for IT people, I've been able to do it. People that don't know they have a need for better IT, you can get on the phone with them and set a meeting with them, and you can eventually sell them. Yeah, because when I set those 15 appointments a day, Jim, not one of those people that I talked to had a need or a problem. Every single one of them told me at the outset of the conversation that they were completely happy with their current provider.
So, how would you know, people listening here, you have tips for them on, you know, they're probably not booking 15 appointments a day. I'm guessing that probably almost, if it's not zero, it's going to be very close to zero of the audience are going to be booking 15 appointments a day right now. So you have tips for them on how to go about getting to this point of being able to book 15 appointments a day?
Well, it's whatever's more. I trained an art dealer, and he had never sold artwork before. And we got on the phone in one day, and he made a sale in one day for $60,000 of artwork. It's not necessarily 50, it's just more appointments, right? More than what you're getting, or
Yep.
you don't even believe in it at all. They're not even trying it. And
Right.
they suddenly
I
believe
think
it.
I think the average MSP isn't even doing any cold calling. They're probably like, cold calling just isn't something that they do.
Exactly.
They're probably you know, relying on referrals and word of mouth as their primary source of business. So if that's the case, what tips do you have for them?
Well, it's simply, there's a couple things they need. I mean, I do have a resource that's free, freeworkbook.com. You know, you need to learn how to get past gatekeepers, and that's 7 diagrams of techniques to get past gatekeepers, freeworkbook.com. But really what they need is 2 things, is just simply the belief that you can do it. In other words, the belief that the person doesn't have to have a need, express need, and that I can talk to them and believe that I have a way to persuade them. The other thing that joins that, there's 2 things. You have to be calling about something innovative. In other words, the whole approach is an educational approach. I didn't call to sell people anything. People don't like to be sold. It's that cringe moment. You try to sell them, they pull away. But if you're just simply calling to educate them, then they're going to listen. And if you don't threaten them, you really tell them that I'm not here to sell you anything.
Huh?
You go in and you get them to lay down their guard and then ask questions that are penetrating questions like I was just calling IT companies today, and I was asking them, you know, are you the very best at telemarketing? And I mean, have you learned everything in the universe about it? Could you train people and nothing else you could possibly learn about cold calling? Well, the answer is no. I could always learn something more. And boom, I just put them in the right frame of mind to want to listen to possibly a better way or a new strategy. So that's really, it's kind of that framing of that powerful question that gets them out of like the negative, and this powerful question just wham them, and suddenly they're like, oh, I never thought about that. And suddenly you change their mindset and you turn it into an educational call. And so basically you have to have something. What I train people is I would train them on their USP
Yeah.
or what, because you can always change your model and get a better disaster recovery solution. You could always do something, get an instant help desk, right? Outsource your help desk, get an instant return on, like pickup or something that could be a marketing thing. But I'll give a tip to everybody out here that's listening, that's an MSP. To this very day, a BDR, backup disaster recovery, that restores in 20 minutes and restores the cloud,
Yep.
is still a unique selling proposition.
Yeah, it's not unique to an MSP, but to the prospect, they don't think about it.
Yeah, the reason why is because most IT companies, Jim, and I've been doing this for 20 years, they don't include a BDR in their managed service offer. It's like you go to rent a U-Haul, and then after you rent it and sign the paperwork, they say, "Do you want insurance for it?" It's the after sale.
Yeah.
And people cringe from that. Generally speaking, most people, I don't know about you, but my wife always says, "No, we don't want anything extra. We don't want the insurance. We don't want the GPS. We don't want, and so what happens is you have people basically that are uncovered. In other words, they're left without the state-of-the-art BDR because of this. And it can be a wedge opportunity, especially if you're smart enough. Someone just gave me the tip about Veeam, that it's like super inexpensive. It's not quite as good as Datto, but people are paying an arm and a leg for Datto, and they pay extra for it. You could bundle a basic plan like Veeam into your managed service offering. You could always upsell them Datto if they want the latest and the greatest, but at least Veeam gives them basic cloud storage, and it gives them, like a 2-hour restore. And that becomes a differentiator between our two offers. If you have that, when you call, you ask questions about that. That's it. I'm sure you're happy with your current vendor, but let me ask you, do you have a BDR? Did they include that in their offer? Or, is that an extra thing? Did you not get it? Or what do you have? And then when they just tell you, you have a conversation and tell you, well, let me ask you, have you heard of this? Or did you know that you could get a BDR that was like 60% cheaper or free because we included in our offer? Really?
Yeah. Or because we're using Veeam instead of Datto.
That's just an example. It's a different way of doing something different. Like some companies have a truly all-inclusive offer that's like office moves. We'll move your office, we'll do on-site anything, like truly unlimited. And that's a differentiator, because the people who say they're unlimited, there's all these extra bills still, there's extra things. And so then you can call that as a differentiator. So if you have a differentiator, right, the person doesn't have to have a problem. You just have to educate them that there's something they're not aware of. And if there was something that you didn't know out there, a better way would you be open to it? That's all I'm asking. And when the people say yes, then you tell them what it is. There's a lot more to it, but that's the heart of it right there. If you can do those two things, then there's unlimited numbers of opportunities to set appointments beyond your wildest imagination.
Got it. So any last thoughts about this?
No, great talking to you. And it's this free workbook.com. There's a webinar you can watch about the number one secret that you need webinar, and a bunch of free resources of the first 60 seconds. People mess up. I do polling on LinkedIn, and nearly everybody does the wrong thing in the first 60 seconds. Terribly wrong. And they don't know how to get past gatekeepers. You know what? I polled, guess what the number one answer people think the best way to get past gatekeepers? To be honest.
Be honest.
I'm a salesman.
Yep.
You don't want to lie, but the last thing you do is out yourself. I'm writing an article right now, is you have the right to be to anonymity and not to self-disclosure, right? If you're not asked directly, if you're a salesman, don't tell them.
You should be treating almost like if you're almost like acting like you're a criminal and you're talking to a cop, but almost in a way, but not lying not lying at all. You just like don't answer, like you just keep only answer the questions evasive,
like a politician.
Yeah, that too.
Are you going to run for office? well, we're not ruling it out, and it's based on the American people, and I'm still going to focus on my job as senator right now, and I got to focus on that. But no, but sir, are you going to run for office?
I'm not saying yes. I'm not saying no. Maybe.
It's evasive, man. And the last thing, if we have time, but the last thing is, man, people are terrified of gatekeepers. And the thing is, there are not that many of them out there. A gatekeeper is really like the administrative assistant. Basically, I'd say the Jedi Knight trick, the Jedi mind trick, it only works on the weak-minded. And most of the people that answer the phone are the weak-minded. It's only like the administrative assistant. You could be evasive, and you're using your Jedi mind trick, and they say, "Oh, wait a minute. I need to know exactly who you are and what you're calling about." And that rarely happens. If you're evasive, just the receptionist or whoever randomly picks up the phone, they're not a Jedi Knight in outing salespeople.
So just be evasive, but not lie.
Exactly. Yeah, lying is the worst thing you can do because it always comes back to you. I take calls all the time, and is this a sales call? No, it's not a sales call. Okay, go ahead. And they sell me. Hang up.
So if they ask you it's a sales call, you have to say, yes, it's a sales call.
Well, there's ways. Here's another tip. People, listen. What's this call regarding? I ask people, who are you trying to reach, and what is it generally about? It's generally about money, right?
Yep.
Saving money, you making money. So what do we call it? It's a financial matter, because you don't want to say it's IT because you're going to get routed to the IT guy. You want to talk to the CFO. What's this call regarding? Oh, it's a financial matter, which is vague.
Yeah.
They don't know what the heck I'm saying, and they're like, "Oh, and can you transfer me to the CFO?" Okay.
It's a financial matter.
Yeah.
Got it.
And I'm not lying.
So if somebody wanted to get a hold of you, they should it sounds like you have a website that they can go to, or any other ways to contact that they should contact you.
LinkedIn, but even on a free workbook, you get an email where you can connect with me on LinkedIn. You get an email with my entrepreneur articles that I write, with some of those. And then you get all kinds of tips and stuff that I send via email. But watch the webinar, because I explain. It's free training. It's the link that says free training.
So it's freeworkbook.com. Did I get that right?
Yes. Yeah.
Cool. So
I couldn't believe when I found that domain. I'm like, holy cow.
You probably were shocked that it was available.
Yeah. John Lee Dumas, when I was on his podcast, he's like, I can't believe you got that domain. Because the longer your domain is, people can't listen to it, remember it. But right. I'm sure everybody here can remember free workbook.
I think I can remember that. So anyways, thank you for your time here today and your great nuggets on mindset and cold calling, appointment setting. It's I think the audience will
pick up the phone and start dialing.
So that's the marching orders, is just pick up the phone and start dialing. So until next time on Profits of IT, I am Jim Punzenberger, your host and the creator of the Managed Prospecting System. Check out managedprospectingsystem.com. Thank you for tuning in to the Profits of IT. Please smash that like button, subscribe, and share.